Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Couch Co-op Gaming Podcast. I don't know if I like that title, but whatever. I'm here with my buddy Cruz as usual, my man.
Howdy.
And I know that sounded weird, but it's not what you think. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into Xbox's showcase. I couldn't think of the word because I got distracted by the last thing. But yeah, so let's just jump into it. Starfield. They finally showed off more Starfield gameplay. Now, I know a few weeks back before I was giving this game a lot of shit because of the in-game engine, but I'm glad to see that I've been proven wrong about this game. What are your thoughts about it, Cruz?
I am impressed. I am glad they took their time with their game. I'm glad they're seeing that, what happened with Redfall, they're seeing that this has to be their slam dunk for the year, and it looks like their efforts paid off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that because with Starfield, my biggest concern was just, Bethesda has this thing of like using the same graphics and same engine as they usually do. So it's like, I know graphics aren't everything, but after a certain amount of years, a game deserves to be updated to full potential. Like Tales of Rise was a great example of a series, updating their engine, really coming forward with the look of the game and whatnot, really feeling next gen.
I agree. I think that the game is just living up to the potential. Well, at least in terms of like how it's really smooth out.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's really ambitious, and I think it's going to pay off. And the fact that they've said that they have everybody in Microsoft's QA bug testing the hell out of this thing, I think they're going to really try to make this the one Bethesda game that launches with the least amount of bugs ever.
Yeah, I would be shocked if this game had a lot of bugs. They've learned their lesson way too many times in the past. Small bugs, people are usually whatever about, but if this is game breaking, it'd be sad. It'd be super sad to see. Plus, this game is just way too big to not have any kind of QA testing, especially with it being locked at 30 frames. If this game is buggy and that stuff still happens, we have performance issues of any kind, I don't see the point of it being stuck at 30 FPS then.
Yes, but they had somebody from Santa Monica Studios back at them up. They're saying that this was a decision, not like whatever people were complaining about. You know what? I have faith in this game. I really do. Let's just let this be their slam dunk, and this can be their generational start forward.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm willing to give the game a shot. I'm interested to a certain degree, and I'm definitely willing to try it out when it comes out.
Yes.
But aside from that, we had a bunch of games and a lot of surprises at this event, and that one was Fable. Fable was announced at this event. We thought Fable was dead.
I didn't think it was dead. I just didn't think they were gonna have anything ready. But the fact they came in with they had a little CG trailer sprinkled in between, but they had some, as they said, in-game engine footage was also shocking. And this is coming from, I think, Playground Studios that do the Forza games.
Right.
The fact you got a Forza, like a race car driving simulator game making something like this is like, yo, these guys know what they're doing. They just need to take a break once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the developer itself was shocking. I also really enjoyed the trailer they put out too. Like, I loved how it had her going on adventures, and then all of a sudden she ends up at the dude who's narrating the whole thing's house, and then he's just chasing around.
Right.
That felt like Fable, for sure.
I did like the humor. There was a lot of from what I understand, that British humor that Fable's known for, so it felt good.
And it wasn't corny. I feel like a lot of humor in games is really corny. Like Borderlands 3, for example, was a great game, but it's just damn, it's just so cringy to watch sometimes.
This humor felt natural.
Right. It didn't feel like it was so forced.
Exactly.
And it's not a whole lot to say about this trailer, but there's definitely something to look forward to now. I know Fable fans are super excited, and hopefully the people who make it don't screw it up.
Pretty much.
But I doubt they will. They're pretty good, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt until they screw it up. Next up is a game I rarely ever touch, but it's there at the event, and that's Payday 3.
I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked because I kept hearing that people saying that they just kept updating / adding content to Payday 2, but it was a very sluggish pace. The game was getting updated and stuff, but it was kind of drip fed. But the fact they're saying, all right, we're going to stage 3, it's all right then, cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it has been a few good amount of years since they've even done anything, at least that I've seen any Payday related news, and it just felt like it was the right time, especially right now. All the big shooters are out. Nothing's really coming that's gonna stomp it out like Call of Duty or Battlefield or anything like that. So right now it's kind of the perfect time anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, I never really cared much for Payday, but it looked pretty good for the fans who love it. So I hope they enjoy it when it actually comes out.
They got a dedicated fan base. I'm sure they were happy to see that it's finally out and it's coming up soon.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, Another game on our list, which we were actually supposed to watch a video for, but I won't get into it. I'll make a video about it later. Getting into the nitty gritty of it. That is Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. We fucking did it.
So I did see the trailer. I did watch it. I found it interesting, and because outside of the whole mess, the hot mess that it launched in.
Right.
Let me ask this. So from what I understand, this is DLC, but you can also buy this by itself, right?
As far as I know, yes, it's a standalone game. Granted, you would want to play Cyberpunk 2077 to play through this, to progress through it. So actually, I don't even. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's standalone. I could be wrong. If I am, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's new DLC. Cyberpunk or CD Projekt Red in general, when they make DLC, is really good about it. The Witcher, for example, their DLCs were as big as their last Witcher 2 game.
Okay.
And that's how big their DLCs were, and that's really saying something when it comes to this. So I'm super excited to see what this game and DLC has to offer, because it just looks like more Cyberpunk, and it looks more polished than when when the game first launched, of course. And then if people want to wait, I totally understand, but I'm not gonna do that because I love Cyberpunk.
All good.
Even when it was super buggy and crappy, but yeah, it looks interesting. We got a new location, still Night City. It looks like it's picking up right where we left off before you get the actual ending, and then Johnny Silverhand's back, of course, and we're seeing new characters. Idris Elba's going to be in the game.
That I give props. He's one of my favorite actors.
Right, that's a lot of star power in this game, especially for DLC, and it just looks great. If you want to watch it, go check out the trailer, or continue to watch our video as I show it off.
Fair.
And yeah, but we won't get too spoilery into it, but it's definitely worth checking out. I don't know why I made it ramble so long with that, but whatever.
It's all good, man.
This is the podcast.
That's us gushing over the game, man.
Right. The next one, though, really surprised me, and I very much love the vibe of it, and that was Star Wars Outlaws. I was shocked to see this, because I'm not even a big Star Wars fan, but this game's got game potential.
I found it interesting. Again, not a big Star Wars fan either. I have a few games I'm like a big fan of, but not that franchise as a whole. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of refreshing to hear that like this is being done by Ubisoft, and I think it's because EA's exclusivity contract with Disney has ended. I think so now like everybody gets their hands on the Star Wars pool, so we're gonna see like everybody take their own shots of what Star Wars could be for them. Right.
And one thing I've noticed too about some of these games, at least maybe because I was watching the Ubisoft event, but a few games are using the Snowdrop engine, and it looks pretty good. I can't lie. One thing I know, it's super early gameplay footage and whatnot, but it felt like I don't know. It felt like it needed a little bit more polish in some places, especially like the action scenes. But I could be wrong. I maybe I'll watch the trailer again and see. But it just looked a little rough there. Transitioning from like doing things like jumping on the bike or like flying, riding off and all that. But that's just little nitpicky stuff that I'm just looking at. But the game looked great. I like the vibe, especially that little reel you get at the end of the trailer. As you see it, so go into all these different locations. I just want to know how big this game is, and it looks like it's going to be not big like Starfield, but it's going to be pretty massive and expansive.
I'd probably give it to the range of like something like as a Far Cry, maybe an Assassin's Creed earlier days.
That's fair.
If it's something like that, that's fine. It's not, as long as, honestly, since it's the first and it's whatever it's going to be aiming out to do, maybe giving it that smaller scope could probably be the better idea, so that way they know what to improve on the sequel if it does well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it got a sequel. And from what I've seen of people who saw the trailer of the game, they're interested. Fallen Order was pretty good, well received. That was their Dark Souls take on Star Wars, which is pretty interesting. It's kind of weird how open they're being with the Star Wars license in general, just Disney, and it's not bad, but it's just kind of weird. I feel like they would have just picked one studio to do all their games.
Well, that's what the original plan was. Yay, and look how well that turned out.
Yeah. I mean,
they had more misses than hits, man.
That's fair. Because Fallen Order is so good, I keep forgetting about Battlefront 1 and 2 and those little slip-ups and all the loot box debacle. And
how about Jedi Survivor kind of almost like, was it Jedi Survivor? I think it was. How it fucked up at launch, how bad it was. Disney was like, y'all keep fucking up.
Yeah, they put their foot down real quick when it came to that. But, I mean, both games ended up being pretty decent.
Oh, yeah, I know for a fact. People saying the two Jedi games are good. Just just Disney had enough of their shit.
Yeah, they're like, yo, get it together. You're messing it up for us.
Plus, back in the day when Star Wars was still his own thing, or at least owned by Fox by itself, Fox didn't care who did it. What?
Oh yeah, they just whatever.
And that's where you got a lot of cool hidden gems. Like you got the Star Wars racing games, you got the Rogue Squadron games. I think it was called like Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
And some of the movie games, like the ones that were directly tied into movie, were not bad either. So
Right. And the 1313 game that was supposed to come
and then got shot
canceled.
down because Disney.
Yeah, I was like, well, like, why would you do that?
Force Unleashed.
This game, Force Unleashed, was great. Yeah, people love that.
So that's what I'm saying. If we're getting back to this old era where everybody can do what they want with it, yo, I'm all in.
I'm just waiting for that like new age, like Elder Scrolls Online version of like Knights of the Old Republic to come out. It's gonna happen eventually. Like we'll have a Star Wars MMO at least in the next 10 years or so. But I could be wrong. Who knows? That aside, oh wow, I'm looking at the list right now, dude. It's about to get personal. It's about to get personal. Because man, look, all right. So next game on our list is one we were not expecting to see, but we all kind of like knew it was gonna happen eventually. Persona 3 Reload was announced at Xbox's showcase instead of PlayStation's. Now I could just be being a big baby about it, which is probably the case here, but for Sony, what happened, man? Like this was like I feel like this was their child. Like there was no other mainline Persona games on any other platform until, you know, a few years later after the fact, which I'm not really complaining about, but it's just like for having such a lackluster show in general, how could you miss this slam dunk that's like obvious? Because it doesn't make any sense why Persona 3 was not the final game that should have been shown off at State of Play.
Like we talked about the last episode, it could have been Persona 3, it could have been Final Fantasy 7, it could have been even Spider-Man's release date, but no, they
chose Metal Gear.
Not even Metal Gear, man, because we'll talk about that later or another day, because I got something to say there. But
yeah,
but no, man, I'm telling you, man, just their heads are so high in the clouds right now. Like we don't gotta worry, our stuff will sell itself. That's in their mindset right now. The fact that you got Xbox over here flagging the Persona 3.
Yeah.
Granted, it was leaked, but officially, Xbox took the fucking reveal.
They took the win, and it's coming to Game Pass. So it's like, damn, okay, free Persona game and a remake that every Persona fans probably wanted since the series launched. Man, that was some real shade thrown. I don't know what's going on with them. We'll make a video about seeing what's going on with them hopefully later on in the week. But dude, yeah, when I saw that reveal, I was like super happy and elated and that it's coming out and it's excited. And then I just started coming down a little bit and started to come back to reality, especially with like some of the content that's not going to be on the game. So Persona 3 basically has 3 different versions. There's FES, and the portable version with the female main character, and then slight differences in the stories here and there, you know, as far as, you know, how it plays out and whatnot. But it's going to be pure just P3, no FES, no portable content at all, which in my opinion is kind of a miss for this kind of game. But I mean, if we get the P5 royal love in this game, I'm not too mad about it.
Pretty much. I'm assuming it's not just going to make... Okay, probably content-wise, because I have never played 3 or any of the versions of it. It'll probably be, like you said, the vanilla game, but I'm pretty sure it would have 5's quality of life improvements.
Oh, yeah. Like, we'll get, like, more social links. I'm sure it won't be as restrictive and whatnot.
Probably faster combat, all that stuff.
Yeah. If I have to slug through Tartarus is, like, 100 levels again, I'm going to be pissed. But if they make it, like, interesting and fun playing through those, then cool. I'm not really tripping.
But there's I think they said there was a small chance the DLC could be the other content, but I know that'd be really dumb.
Yeah, but especially with the P4, 5, and Royal coming to Game Pass and will be multi-platform and technically getting a remaster. So when you see that, the writing was kind of on the wall about it anyway. When they put it on Game Pass and other platforms, so I mean we're getting the remake. We finally did it. You know, thank God. You know, it's been years we've been wanting it. It looks how I hope. Soundtrack's probably going to be amazing. Lotus Juice always kills it. Him and Shogi Meguro are always amazing when it comes to the music in their games. So I have no real complaints about this at all. I just want it sooner than later, honestly. And yeah, but we're not done yet with this Persona missteps here, man.
No.
Sony again. What happened, bud? 2 Persona games. One I understand, but the second one, Persona 5 Tactica, weird name by the way. Tactical RPG from, you know, Persona, where basically Persona is stepping into, you know, Fire Emblem territory.
Yep.
Which I don't know whether or not to be scared for it or just like excited to try it, because as a Persona fan I have to play it now. But yeah, I haven't touched Fire Emblem in forever, and tactical RPGs are not my forte, and
it's just very interesting, and
I'm gonna have to learn.
I want to bring this up just because I've heard this joke online. Do you feel like Persona 5 has just turned from a cash cow to now powdered milk, where they're just milking it dry.
Yes, I feel like so spin-off games for me in the franchise like this, I don't mind as long as they're quality. For the most part, they've been putting out pretty solid games in different like variety of genres. So like we had a dancing rhythm game, which was amazing because the soundtrack fucking ate. There was that. We had PQ 2, 1 and 2, honestly, but
Strikers.
Q2 is Strikers, basically an action version of a Muso version of Persona, which was actually pretty fantastic. It's when you consider a team that pretty much just copied the entire formula of Persona 5 and put it into a different type of game and did perfectly on it, mind you. And that, in my opinion, is cool. But the fact that we're starting to go to like tactical RPGs, which is no shade thrown at that genre, but it's just like, okay, now it's getting a little bit much, especially with the way they're going, with the P3 remakes and all that and remasters.
You also got that mobile phone game in China at the moment, so it's like I'm not throwing shit at it either, but it feels like they hit it big with Persona 5, and they're just trying to ride this wave as long as they can before 6 comes out.
Yeah, and that game came. Remember, Persona 5, the original game, came out in 2016. It's been almost 6 years since
going on 7.
If my math isn't trash, yeah, it's been almost 6 years. So the fact that we're still getting more of it, I'm kind of over it. Royal was like the final like cherry on top of everything, along with Strikers and all that. But now it's just kind of like, all right, how many games are we gonna do this? Like I'm starting to get like, okay, just do a P4 version or something like that. Would have been cool, or just another P3 game or something.
How would you feel if at least this was the fighting game and not the strategy game? Would this still been counted as powdered milking, or just at least a better send off?
A little bit, but a fighting game with some real with some actual sustainability, then yeah, that would have been cool. Because I know people have been pining for another arena game for a while, and I think that this domain was the one for the arena domain. So this isn't even a fighting game. It wasn't even for a fighting game originally. It's for the Tactica game. So it's kind of like, damn. Yeah, I feel like we would have liked that more than this. The only reason why I kind of hate this is like I wish they stuck with the PQ models instead of
this new art style.
These weird boxy guys they're doing. It's kind of weird. But I've seen so much Persona, like I don't care anymore at this point. Like, give me a good soundtrack and a good story, I'll play it. And it's coming to everything, so I can't really complain about exclusivity. Yeah, and then so just bring PQ over to everything else, and I'll call it even.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm not too angry about them milking it. Granted, as long as the games are quality. If they're not, fuck off. But yeah, so I'll leave that with food for thought for you guys. But we're gonna jump to Senua's Saga. Have you played this game?
No, I've heard of it. I know the first one is on everything. I also had a Switch port, so I got no reason not to play it.
It's really good.
But I just know it's a psychological horror game. That's
Yes,
the vibe I got from the first one.
That's fair.
And this one's just like with the more whispering and everything. I was like,
yeah, it's action adventure. It's real creepy and weird. Not as weird as you would think it would be. It's very good at like screwing with you in a way. Like when I played through it, I was like terrified.
I like the concept of that. Then
yeah, the combat's good.
All right.
It's really simple. Just dodge, weave, slash, attack. You get ganged up on a lot in this game. And it gets kind of annoying. I only had one section where I was just like getting really frustrated because I swear to God I was getting like back-to-back enemies and they just wouldn't stop, and I just put it down after a while. And yeah, but it's a really good game. This is one of those games like you just experience, you don't play really, aside from just during combat. Puzzles, I hate it. I hate the puzzles in the game because I don't know if it's screwing with me or if I'm just that bad at puzzle games, but yeah, I hate it. I hate the puzzles in this game.
Interesting.
It's terrible. You have to line things up specifically in a weird way, and half the time, and I just wasn't getting it.
Okay.
I eventually just looked at a guide, and I was like, screw it.
Huh. I gotta take a deep dive on this now. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a great game. Has the atmosphere. From every trailer that you see of this game is literally like that. That's the gameplay.
I like it then.
Yeah, it's really good. Like
horror's up my alley. That's why. So I'm like, all right.
Mm-hmm. And the voices make you question yourself, and they creep you out, and they always say like the things you don't want to think, but you are thinking.
Ooh.
And it's just like, ugh. It's like, damn.
Fun.
Yeah, this out of all the games I've ever played in my lifetime, definitely has the best atmosphere out of all of them. And yeah, it's dark and gritty too, and it's great. Definitely worth playing. Definitely check it out. It should be super cheap right now. It's been out for a while.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Ninja Theory, they're slow at developing games, but
they got quality.
It's so worth it. They take their time. And yeah. Why don't you go ahead and introduce us to the next one, bud?
Sweet. There was no gameplay revealed for it, but I'm excited. We got Ichiban, I believe his name is. He's coming back for a sequel or spinoff. I'm not sure what this is, but it's Yakuza Infinite Wealth.
Yeah.
We got no clue other than he's washed up on an American beach. We don't know if it's the west side or east side.
Right.
But he washed up on a beach, nude as fuck, and they're doing the whole. Remember the Austin Power movies where he was walking around nude, but they would censor his junk with like cute little gimmicks.
Yeah.
That's the whole trailer there, and you see him buck ass nude on the beach, and
right.
Man, Twitter had a field day drawing his ass doing the same, like memeing that up. But you know what?
Really though.
Just that alone, I don't even need to know anything else. I'm sold. That was just funny.
Yeah, the one that killed me was the straw.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
dude. I was like, they're cutting it real thin with this. But definitely though, yeah, I'm interested to see what's up. I like the turn-based combat that the Yakuza game put in. I would love it if all the games were like that. I just love turn-based combat. But yeah, I'm curious. My guess for the place he's washed up at, Miami.
probably just from the aesthetic. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would assume Cali because it makes more sense on like a geographical standpoint.
Yeah.
But from the aesthetic of the beach, I was like, yeah, it looks more like Miami.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that part. I just guessed Miami because I just feel like that'd be the perfect place to put him, or like for the game to take place. Cali's great too.
It is Florida, so that you would have more adventures there than
Right.
yeah. So
Everybody's like just super, just not cool towards him. I would definitely curious about it. I want to try it. I got a lot of Yakuza to catch up on before I touch this game.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's like 500 hours of games,
give or take.
Yeah.
That's slow balling it.
but it's on Game Pass, so go Xbox.
Yep.
Sony, come on, do something, please. I'm begging you here, man. I really am, man. All right, that's enough of me whining. Next up, Metaphor, Refantasio. Yeah.
Atlas and their naming schemes, man.
Really though, but you know what? For as odd as this game sounds, the name and gameplay is absolutely fantastic. It's literally just Persona like 5, like maxed out. If like a Shin Megami Tensei like took all of like Persona 5's aesthetic and did their own version.
Pretty much, it's the vibe I got. You got the darkness of the SMT side of the franchise, but then it has the Persona like aesthetic. So it's like this is kind of what you've been looking for.
Right. It's like it's dark, it's gritty. It's like if Persona 3 was like never came out and then it's finally coming out. Like it's awesome. Like I don't know what to say about it. Like I can't. I'd rather you watch the trailer than me sit here explain it to you because it's pretty awesome. Like it's Atlas, it's JRPG. We know what we're getting. We're gonna have a great time with this game.
I'm gonna throw it in here again because again, another Atlas game, another Shin Megami Tensei game. Since that's pretty much what it's on.
Mm-hmm.
Sony passed down it.
Yeah, that is true. This was a big one. This is a new IP, so this is.
And I mean, it's coming to them, but the fact they chose not to reveal it themselves
Definitely
says a lot, man.
I don't know what to say for them because they're. I really like Sony, man. I really do. I've loved Sony for a long time. You can call me a fanboy if you want, but Sony was just like always just Sony. You know, killed it. JRPGs, go to Sony. Fucking anything else, go to Sony if you really want to. Xbox is cool every now and again. You know, you want to get your Gears or Halo on or whatever, but Sony was just a place where you discover stuff. And now it's just like, damn, I don't know what I'm gonna do for this franchise or with this company because they keep messing up. This portable handheld sucks, and it's just I'm not even gonna get into it because that's a whole other video we can complain about.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just jump to the next game. I want to talk more about Metaphor, but we just don't know enough about it. Probably make a video about it here and there. Depends on what the week's looking like. Liza P though is the next game we're gonna talk about. I don't know if you've seen gameplay of it.
I've heard of it. So here's the funny part. When I first heard it, I was a Dark Souls version of Pinocchio. I'm like, huh?
Exactly.
Just telling that to somebody, you're going, well, what?
Yeah.
Then you see gameplay, it's like, this is interesting. I like the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls gameplay is never not good. I mean, unless you do it wrong.
Right.
But this just looks solid. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Taking.
It does, and it's the pace of Dark Souls too. So it's not Bloodborne. As far as what we've seen so far, it's Dark Souls speed pace or whatever. And yeah, it's literally just Pinocchio, and you do side quests. You'll literally either lie or tell the truth, and then depending on whatever, we haven't really been explained as to what they do as far as mechanically, but yeah, it looks pretty interesting. Devil May Cry style arm attachments, which are awesome because I love that visual flair that they do in that, and yeah, it's really stylish too for a game like this as well.
Also, last minute thing from them. They're also doing a collaboration with Wulong. Like,
oh, I saw that. Yeah,
that's That's nice, interesting.
Really,
Two new games that are about to like do a little crossover.
I'm just curious as to what they'll do. Though?
Guessing my best guess,
Weapons and
anything
armor?
like a boss from Wulong will go to Liza P, and a boss from Liza P will go to Wulong would make sense to me.
Right.
And you get like gear from each side.
I want to play this game, but I just hope it's a parry button. Wulong has spoiled me when it comes to parries, and that's all I rely on now. I tried it in Elden Ring, and I just got my ass beat.
Oof.
Like back to back. But yeah, Liza P is a great game. I highly recommend you check out the trailers. There's tons of gameplay out on it right now. If you like Dark Souls, you'll definitely love this. I'm definitely gonna pick it up and try it out when it comes out. And so will Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
So he has no excuse because now I have him on 4K audio.
Pretty much.
Definitely. The next game. This one's a doozy. I gotta put the trailer on because Path of the Goddess is one of the most visually appealing games that I've seen from an event in a while. Like, it's incredible. What did you think of it when it came out, Cruz?
First off, I thought it was a new Okami game, and then the more samurai stuff started coming. I was like, oh, so is this Onimusha? Mm-hmm. No, and then it turns out it's just a whole brand new IP from Capcom out of Microsoft, and I'm like,
right.
Again, what the fuck, Sony? Still, like Timon said, dude, like this thing is just gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. Like,
I fucking love like the Japanese yokai aesthetic. I don't know what to describe it, but like I love it. It's just my eyes could not be like taken away from this. Like it's just pretty.
Yeah, it is, and it's like it looks so unique and different. Like it's so artful, and it just makes you want to like. I don't want to play this on anything but like a really great monitor.
Right? It's just what did they do?
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Guess what engine this game's on?
The RE engine.
Yeah, the RE engine. What the hell?
Capcom over here like, nah, we don't need to license out fucking Unreal. Yeah. We got our own. We can use it for emulating shit.
Yeah,
make it fighting.
Definitely though. It's definitely appealing though. Definitely interesting game. For what we've seen, it looks like I don't want to say turn based because it looks like there's action scenes in it or action combat in it.
I honestly can't tell you what kind of gameplay it is, dude. It's just
that's just how weird this game looks or how great it is. It doesn't tell you what it is until it's in your hands.
Yeah, I'm hoping we got a demo for it or something. Just snippets of it remind me of Okami. Mm-hmm. Snippets of it remind me of Onimusha, but it's not either one of those one way or the other. It's just its own thing, and it works.
Yeah. This year's just been really great for Asian aesthetic games. Like they just been really pushing their art styles were really great. Like Wulong was really good. This game especially, and just Yakuza with its flair and the way the game shows itself off has been just fantastic. And it really shows how far just like Japanese game development has come in the last 20, 30 years. Because man, I'd say it's action adventure game. Then
yeah, I would definitely action adventure. Just like the camera angle. Thank God it's not like third person behind the shoulder thing.
Oh my God!
But like
it's like just far enough away to just actually be cool. And then, but like close enough to keep you invested and like to get all the visual flairness.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm excited for this. I really want to try this out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. I can't complain about it. This is definitely one of the best games. It's definitely a great place to stop. Well, because we've run out of games to talk about. I think we have.
Oh no, there's a few more. But
oh shit, there really is. Never mind. I'm goofing. So
Avowed.
Yeah, tell me about Avowed, Cruz, because you've seen this game more than I have.
Quick history dump. I am not a fan of the Elder Scroll games. I'm not a fan of the Fallout games. Well, I'm not a fan of their gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Aesthetically, I would, if I had to pick one of the two, I would go with Fallout.
Really?
Yes, I'm not that big into fantasy. As weird as that sounds, like super realistic fantasy. I get bored.
Of medieval fantasy?
Yes, it's weird. If it's not done right, it's either the gameplay's not done right or the aesthetic's not done right. I get bored pretty quick. That's why I like Dragon's Dogma.
Is that with everything or just?
It depends. It's like a very nitpicky thing because like one of my favorite stories, mangas, whatever you want to call it of all time, is Berserk. It's heavily medieval fantasy, but it's also dark fantasy.
It's also anime too. That's fuck.
Yes, but I've been reading it because the only anime season that got adapted good was the Golden Age arc.
Yeah.
So it works. Dark Souls, Elden Ring are also medieval fantasy, but again, they have an aesthetic and gameplay that works for me.
Right.
Elder Scrolls It does.
It's our style.
It's our style and it's too slow. Now, Avowed is being done by Obsidian, who did Fallout New Vegas. They also did Outer Worlds. They also did Wasteland. They're doing their own take on a fantasy game.
Right.
And just right off the bat, we saw a lot of games that we didn't talk about that were just medieval inspired, and they looked like they were running on the Unreal Engine. And I'll be honest, I got bored looking at half of them just because they all look like copy paste jobs. But this Avowed, bruh, the colors, they were like, yo, we got like a fucking color on it. Let's just crank it up. It's like they just took some crayons and highlighters and just injected this game with that. It's like, God, it looks gorgeous. Like, and God, dude, like, I can't praise it enough because, like, I finally have something that has an aesthetic I like.
Right. I can definitely see that being a thing for you because that's one of your biggest complaints about that game. That's fair because Fallout 3 Fallout 3 was like really just like green and gray for the most part.
A lot of the games in that generation just green, gray, poopy brown, all that stuff. But this, they're saying, we don't have to make it like dark fantasy because. Fun fact, a lot of people are complaining about the trailer because they're saying this doesn't look like we were promised because the original trailer for Avowed, when it was first announced, looked like a dark, super realistic fantasy. But somewhere along the lines, they just said, fuck that shit. Let's just... They didn't scrap the game. They just scrapped that aesthetic. And I think that was a huge, big win for them. I like where they're going in this new art direction.
Right.
Honestly, if they went with whatever they were going before, probably would have bored me to tears and I don't even want to mention it here. The fact I'm bringing up a game that is in that same art style and gameplay, gameplay in general, dude, you know that something's doing right.
Right.
So, yes, Avowed, check it out. It's going to be on Game Pass if we're going to have it. And it's Obsidian. Yeah. You know their pedigree. It's good.
They haven't messed up yet. At least as far as I know. But, yeah, I mean, game looked great. I mean, definitely a lot more color, like you said. And yeah, I mean, they've been working on this for a while, so it's finally good to see something now come out of it at least. And then I can't really complain about the gameplay so far. I'll try it out, although I still have to get through Outer Worlds. I'm so behind on my backlog. Jesus,
struggle is real.
It's great, but like not great at the same time. So I have one question though for you. You say you hate certain fantasy aesthetics. How did you feel about The Witcher?
I have not given it any try. At all, because honestly, it wasn't until recently when I heard about how good The Witcher was. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Really?
Like, wow. From what I understand, like at least to me, I guess Witcher 1 and 2 were just cult classics because I didn't hear anything about them until 3.
Yeah, that makes sense for the first two. So 3 really put itself on the map, the series at least on the map. 2 was cool. 2 was like that game you see on Xbox like 360, where it was. And if you're just like scrolling through randomly, you see the game like The Witcher, and you like look at it, and you like kind of want to try it, but you kind of don't. But then you actually do. I took that risk once. I just saw it really randomly when I was looking for a good game to play in high school, and played it. Fell in love immediately. That game is absolutely amazing. Dated for sure, no doubt about that. It was even dated for an enhanced version of the game because it came out on PC originally. And then, but definitely we're playing it. If you want to try Witcher, highly recommend playing 2. Just start at 2. You don't need 3. You'll fill in the blanks as you play through 2 and 3. But definitely play Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is way too good for you not to try.
So just from the outset of looking at Witcher 3, and especially when a bit ago when it was announced, at the time when it was announced that it was coming to Switch and they CD Projekt Red put it all in the one cart without any downloads, I'm like, all right, that's a good feat. And I saw it, and everybody was saying it's still just as good. Yeah, it's a little bit blurry, but what can you expect from something that's running on like very old hardware at the time?
The Switch, yeah.
So you know what? I give them props, and the fact that it's still reviewed good, it sold well. I gotta say, you know what? I gotta try it out. At least beat the main campaign, because I know, like you said, if the expansions are just as huge, it might take me too long to beat all of it. But at least doing the story, I'll give it a shot. Plus, I heard that the Switch version has cross-save compatibility, so you can play it on PC and then cross-save with Switch.
Right. Yeah, Witcher 3 is... I would definitely take Witcher 3, like the Witcher series in general, just over Elder Scrolls. Like, don't get me wrong, Elder Scrolls is cool, it's fun, great game, legendary as hell. But Witcher 3 was just like on that same level, and it did more. Like, it just, wow. I'll say this much. I'll put, the only thing that makes Skyrim so great for me is that how great the sandbox world is.
Gotcha.
Don't get me wrong, there's great quests in that game, there's a decent story here, however, and the graphics are kind of okay. The Witcher 3 did all the same things. They just didn't do, the sandbox just isn't as fun unless you're playing with mods.
Gotcha.
Then it's like, yeah, okay, but it's good. Like riding around in The Witcher 3 was like way more fun than it would be in like Skyrim.
Okay.
It's just, I feel like to compare those two games is hard because Witcher 3 is so up to date, while Skyrim is just kind of like bogged down, and it's just like
It's a hard comparison.
yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like comparing like gold from like new gold and like old. I don't know. I can't even explain it right. It's just the two
Coke
great
and Pepsi?
games basically, and Coke is just like used to be the best and it's like awesome, but then Pepsi came through and it's like, oh yeah, we're great too. We do the same thing, better. I love Pepsi.
All right.
More
All
than
right.
Coke.
There you go.
Definitely though. Sorry to get sidetracked. Love talking about The Witcher, but Still Wakes in the Deep.
Oh, Still Wakes from the Deep. Oh, so that one, it was very short. It was very brief, but is a survival horror, first person one from what I can tell, and it takes place on an oil rig or somewhere. A plant where they harvest oil from the ocean.
That's a creepy spot to be at.
And I don't know what it is. All we know is you're a guy who's stranded there alone, and something's chasing you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got this really good spooky atmosphere. So I don't know. We don't know much from it.
Damn.
But if you got it's a survival horror, I'm willing to try it.
Yeah, that's like one of the top 5 places you'd never want to be. Middle of nowhere in an oil rig with probably no one else around, or either just dead.
Pretty much.
God, that's
isolation as fuck.
right. That's like it's the scary as being stuck in like an airport by yourself with nobody around. That's creepy. Yeah, that's what's up though. Definitely hope to see that game come out. Another one that caught my attention was 33 Immortals.
Yes. So fun fact. Those guys, I know they used to have a pedigree in making action games. Then they took a break and made a game called Spiritfarer, which is a very slow. It's gonna sound weird. Animal Crossing-esque game, but it takes place about the afterlife, like guiding spirits to the afterlife.
Right.
Very emotional, and I know my roommate. When I got my copy, let her play it. She said it was very hard to play the game because it's good. It's like really good, but it's also very sad. But here they are going back to their action roots with a 33 co-op game that's just pretty much like Gauntlet or Hades.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yo, this looks fun. 33 player co-op. Let's go.
Bet. Yeah, man. I saw how much you can raid in that game. Okay, I'll play it. I'll try it. I definitely want to try it.
Right?
Definitely want to do that. The next game on our list, however, is actually our last one, and that is Towerborn. This was like a last minute push put on this list, and why don't you go ahead and tell me, Cruz, since you endorsed it. You want me to put the thing for you?
Nah, I remember it pretty quick since we saw it before we started recording.
Fair enough.
Honestly, I saw it and I was like, I don't remember Towerborn from the event. So we rewatched the trailer before starting. It's like, oh, so I remember the name, and it's just kind of reminds me of Castle Crashers, but with a new aesthetic.
Right.
Not just like, I mean, yeah, Castle Crashers, the beat 'em up. You've played it. You go up down, but like,
right.
It looks like it's really 3D beat 'em up, but it still has like that classic crunchy fight with your friends and just go through levels and like. I'm always down for a good beat 'em up. I'm a big Streets of Rage fan, Final Fight fan.
Right.
All that stuff. Castle Crashers is good, and this just looks like it's gonna hit that vibe. And you know what? Anytime there's a new beat 'em up, even if it adds a little bit more like to the genre, I'm down.
Yeah, I enjoyed Castle Crashers when it came out. That was like my first like Xbox arcade game that I ever bought, and it was fun. I had a blast. I was surprised by how like fun that game actually was, and yeah, this definitely looks like it'd be interesting. I wonder how like in depth the combos are for this game would be.
True, that's the one thing you always like when you see a beat 'em up. It's like, yo, how deep can this go?
Like how much do I have to mash versus how much do I have to actually maneuver a bit.
What are the skill trees? What new skills can I learn? Is it going to be gear? Is it going to be items? Like,
right.
That's always the fun part about diving into a new beat 'em up.
Especially ones that are like challenging, because like you need. I feel like there needs to be a little bit more challenge in certain games, especially like lately. I feel like games have just been a little too easy.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I like the casual aspect, but you can do both.
Yes, easily.
It's not that hard to turn down a setting versus to add it in. But that's just my opinion about it. Granted, that's pretty much everything on our list. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Couch Co-op. We always appreciate the support. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know if we're doing anything wrong or if we got anything wrong. What are your thoughts on Persona 3 being on Xbox's showcase instead of PlayStation's? Let us know down in the comments below, and have a good one, and let us know what you're playing.
Peace.